Dennis butt in?
No, that never happened.
That's an oxymoron. Want to buy a bridge, Dennis? Well, anyway, I was dead against Medjugorje. Dead against it from 1981 till 1990. I preached against it. I just had many invitations to go over there, and I just would not have anything to do with it. And in 1990, in the summer of 1990, I got a phone call from one of my former parishioners who lived in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And he said, I'm coming up to Fort Wayne tomorrow with a friend of mine who's going to give a talk in Medjugorje, and his name is Wayne Weibel. Would you join us for a round of golf? And I said, sure. And so they came up and we played a round of golf in the morning, and after we got finished playing, Wayne asked me to go to Medjugorje with him. And I said, no, Wayne, I really enjoyed playing with you. You're a nice man, but no way will I ever go to Medjugorje. It's out of the question, so goodbye. So he went to Fort Wayne and gave his talk, and then the next day he was driving back to Indianapolis at the airport to go back, and he told his chauffeur, you go back to Huntington now and you convince Father Ron to go to Medjugorje because the Blessed Mother wants him to go. So this guy came back to my office and told me that, and I got so angry. I said, get out of here. That's crazy. Get out of here. And on the way out, he said to me, Father Ron, pray over it. So I did. I said, okay, God, if you want me to go to Medjugorje, you better give me a sign today. And that same night, I was talking to my best friend, who was a priest in Pensacola, Father Steve O'Connor. And Steve would be maybe 1,000 times more against this type of thing than I was. You know, he would never go to Medjugorje, any of that stuff. Anyway, we weren't talking about that at all, and we were just talking about all sorts of stuff on the phone that night, and all of a sudden the conversation went into a lull. And Steve said, Ron, why don't you and I go to Medjugorje? And I almost fell off my chair. I said, what are you talking about? Medjugorje? What brought this on? He said, I don't know. I just think we should go to Medjugorje. I said, I just turned down a free trip today, and I'm asking God for a sign whether I should go or not. And you come along with this tonight from all, anybody but you. So I said, I'll call Wayne Weibel tomorrow morning and tell him that I've changed my mind if he takes you along with me. So I called Wayne and I said, I decided to go with you if you take my friend Father Steve with us. Fine, I'll take you both. So we ended up going to Medjugorje in November. And in New York at Kennedy Airport, I was walking up the stairs or something, and my back went on me. And I just screamed in pain. I could barely move. But I got over to Medjugorje, but I spent practically the whole week in bed on my back. I could hardly walk. A couple of times I'd get up and walk over and hear confessions, sit there in the confessional. But that week in Medjugorje proved to be the best week of my whole life. It was, you can't explain it. You could just feel the faith of the people, and hearing confessions of the priests. At a few hours I've never in my life heard confessions like in Medjugorje, conversion experiences of people all over the world. And that touched me so deeply. And then just being in that church once in a while, or just being in the Medjugorje, you could cut the faith and the honesty of that whole thing with a knife. It was so real. And I remember one day, they wanted me to lead the Station to the Cross up Mount Kruiswijk, and I couldn't get out of bed that morning. So I asked Steve if he would lead the station up. He did. It was raining out. And they got to the top of Kruiswijk by the big 35-foot statue or crucifix cross. And Steve said, I was praying up there, and I saw the most perfect rainbow from the tip of that cross on Kruiswijk right down to the steeple of St. James Church. It was an absolute perfect rainbow. And he said, it was just incredibly enlightening to see that. Well, on the way home the next few days, we were flying back to the States, and I left Steve in New York, and he went on to Pensacola. And Steve said, I was sitting in my chair in the plane and looking out the window, and I said, God, I would just love to be able to take just a piece of the peace I have in my heart right now from Medjugorje and give it to my parishioners when I get back home. He said, I looked out the window, and there outside my window was that perfect rainbow, just a chunk of it, he said, right out out the window, as if God said, you bring that peace home. It changed his whole life, changed my whole life. And I got home, home in November, and I said, why did God send me there? why did Wayne say Mary wanted me to go there? And I didn't know. So I started a holy hour on Sunday night, every Sunday night, and that was in 1990. And we haven't missed a Sunday in 18 years now. We pray 15 seconds of the Rosary in church before the Blessed Sacrament. We sing together at just a holy hour, and we haven't missed one Sunday night in 18 years. So I think our parish is praying again. Our parish came alive. I've had 7 vocations in the parish to the priesthood since that time.
Oh my God.
7 young kids became priests.
What parish?
Sts Peter and Paul in Huntington. And so I credit all to, then we started the adoration. We found a room below the church in an old junk room, supply room. We remodeled that whole thing, made it into a beautiful Blessed Sacrament chapel. We have adoration there now, and blessed people praying there all day long. So it just, it changed my whole life as a priest, and it changed Steve's whole life too. So that's, it's just unreal. Yeah, yeah, so.
Wow.
Then I went back.
Awesome.
And then in 1997, I got a call from 28 men from the Notre Dame area here, some professors and the mayor, various big shots up in this area, and a few from Fort Wayne, and they said, we're going to go to Medjugorje. 28 men, no women, 28 men, and we want you to come along and be our retreat master. So I said, fine. So we went back in 97, and we stayed with Mariana in her house. She cooked for us for a week there, and we had conferences and confessions in her basement, and it was a marvelous retreat. It just, it was just, so it's changed my life. It really, it just, thank God for it.